Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite Ravens YouTube channel and podcast. Talking Ravens all day, every day with your host, Justin P. My lovely MVP co host, Miss Shannon Finch. This is episode 136 for the YouTube version, audio version for those who can't watch live. Season 2, episode 36. Right under that is the links below. As I said, if you can't check us out live, you driving, working, or whatever you're doing. And then right under that, myself, Shannon, and David's social media platforms. Like I said, we show at all platforms at the moment. Shannon, Facebook, Twitter, IG, David, Facebook, and IG. Give us a follow. Like I said, some stuff you feel like we didn't address. Hit us up and we'll add it, include in our shows, whether it's on Tuesday or Thursday. We'll squeeze in there. Today,
Mhm.
got a great recap. It's a little therapy. We took a tough loss to the Browns. They won in 5 straight, lost 29-24 on the road. And we just made a trade acquisition. So without further ado, we'll let Shannon take the floor.
Okay, so we often say team win when we win. We're going to say this was a team loss with that loss that we took on Sunday. So, Justin, give me your good, bad, and ugly for week 8.
Oh man, the good. Uh, Zay Flowers, another 100-yard game. He's really emerging as that number one receiver.
Hmm.
I would say Rashad Bateman as well. And drops, but he did make some okay plays. Mark Andrews. Uh, Derrick Henry did okay for the limited carries he had. Um, and Cal Hamilton, he had a drop pick, but he still led our team in tackles with 10. Uh, and of course Lamar, I know he missed Zay on a touchdown, whatever the case may be. But for him to be under the rest like that by a stout Browns D line and still able to make plays. Like I said about the drops, he has 350 yards easy. So I include him in that too. The bad run blocking was terrible first. Like we shouldn't have to run out there. Kevin always pop a big one. He should be able to just run for it and get free 5 yards with no problem. Um, the drops on offense. The drops on offense. Um, gotta catch the ball. I know they said the sun was in his eye, whatever, but you get paid millions of dollars, so you gotta make it. Gotta make that catch. Sunny eye.
Hmm.
Um, situational play call like that goal line wildcat. They were gonna sell out. Stop. If anything, should have had them pass it or had a play action pass. And the ugly penalties, the blown assignments. You can't let Cedric Tillman, go off like that. The drop interceptions, that was crazy. In the Arizona defense, just keep putting us in a hole, and then Justin Tucker missed field goal. So those my good.
Hmm. So we kind of pretty much have the same as usual. For good, I have Lamar, Zay, and Derrick Henry. I feel like Derrick Henry did well, based on, like you said, the limited touches that he did have. Bad, I have drops. That's offensively and defensively. Offense on third down, defense on third down. Offensive line, special teams, coaches' decisions by play calling and personnel decisions. And again, we missed another field goal. The ugly, I have the defense. Like I'm just sick of them collectively at this point. It's a lot of blame to go around over there. Like they're all just, I'm over it. And again, penalties. We've been talking about penalties all season. Through 8 weeks, this team is very undisciplined. So the Ravens got a lot of work to do. That was a winnable game, but they have a lot of work to do. Games like that, when you win them, you kind of don't acknowledge the flaws that you have. It's time to sit down and look in the mirror at this point.
And to piggyback off that, maybe that's what needed to happen. In hindsight, you get what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
everything would have just been brushed under the rug, and sometimes that's
Right. They've been talking about the great plays they made.
right, and not the things, not the things that could have cost us. Like it was a lot wrong in the Bengals game, but since we pulled it out, all was
That's
forgiven.
what I was going to say. If Cal Hamilton caught that, it might have been something in the rug about a lot of stuff. But no, it's time to look in the mirror. The whole group.
For sure. And we were saying the same things, even on a 5-game win streak. Our tone never
Hmm.
changed. Of
Yeah.
course, we're going. happy for the wins, of course, but our tone never changed. I told everybody, I said, receivers, yes, Bateman is playing pretty well, but I said in situations where he has to be the guy to get open without everything, without the run game, without having a nice lead, fell a little short. And everybody was like, I see what you mean. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm happy for his progression, but you know what I'm saying? It's just
Mm-hmm.
when money's on the line, make the catch versus when we up 25, 30 points, or when teams know they play action pass. But I'm a,
Yeah, because nobody wants to hear about the sun being in your eyes. You know what I mean? Like even if it was like
right.
nobody
It's
wants
how
to hear that.
kids that have Sunday eyes still make catches. So it's like, But,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Trying to proceed.
All right, so we're going to move on to the position grades. What grades do you give the coaches? You can separate it how you want.
And I'll separate and I'll give it overall. Todd Monken B plus because some things like it's a situational play calling could have been a little better. Derrick Henry, the need we stress this all year long. They were and every time we get into a little bit of a dog fight, they just say fuck it, we're gonna go all out and pass, pass, pass. We wasn't that we was never down 30 points where we had to just go all pass. Like
Mm-hmm.
keep running the football because like they said, if you keep beating on the rock, it's gonna crack. Like he gets
Mm-hmm.
stronger as the game goes on. He's supposed to have at least his jersey number 22 carries at least. So definitely that's the thing. Tom Monken got to stop doing that. Get Lamar's our best player for sure. He won in his hands, no problem with that. But to make the offense completely better, you got to get 22 involved too. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and that's why it was a big part. You won a 5 game win streak. Because Derrick Henry and Lamar were tearing it up. So
Mm-hmm.
we did that the first 2 games. Had him just all over. And while he did play great, but it made it predictable because teams like they ain't gonna run the ball. This gonna drop back pass, and then we get put our ears back, and then we still got a new offensive line. It's patched up. Like I said, they've been holding it together. So people forgot this is still a new revamped line. And yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday showed why. So definitely give Todd Monken a B plus. Harbaugh B plus. Didn't do anything really wrong. I get being aggressive, but sometimes you gotta take your points. Fourth quarter, I'm all for it because do or die.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. But in the first quarter, with a lot of football left, take your points. Take your points. Take your points. Because now, instead of us having to score a touchdown, I know Tucker missed one, or whatever the case might be. We already talked about that. Now you all he got to do was kick a field goal, and that would have been like a 40 yard. He would have made that, and you win by 1 or 2, whatever the case may be. But yeah, definitely B for him, and then Zach. Oh, I gotta give him an F, man. I'm sorry, man. I get it. The players dropped the picks, that, this, and that, and the third. But I get that. But it's just still his scheme is still the same old stuff each week. We had 1.5, 1 3/4 of a good game from this defense. 1 3/4. That's it. Like out of 9 games so far, it's not good. It's not even 50%. Like so, got F, and I think it's really time for him to get demoted. My thing is, y'all did it with Cam Cameron in 2012, and he actually was scoring points. It might not have looked crisp as they wanted, but he still was putting up enough points. And they dismissed him, but I'm sorry, and I like Zoe, and I feel like all the young coaches get, but it's like we're trying to win a Super Bowl. Like this, not the year that be having a guy on the job training. You do that after you win a Super Bowl because you can. All right, we won it. We can experiment, But yeah,
The only thing I'll say about what you just said is that Cam Cameron still had got 4.5 years before he was fired,
that's true.
and
That's a good
it
point.
wasn't like he just came out and he also had a lot of experience being a coach, so you have a little bit more expectations in that regard. But he still got a chance. I don't think they need to. You don't do that. You don't. It's not. He ain't that bad. But you need to. I don't. The Ravens really never go about their business like that. And when they did that with Cam Cameron, it was because it was 4.5 years. At that point, it was like, okay, we trying to win a Super Bowl. This is Echo's first year, and it hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been great. But I don't think that they should just go out and say demote him. Like I don't know. As a black man, I don't like that. I don't like the idea of that. And I'm not saying,
And that's
that
why
he
part
doesn't
of me
need to be
do
better
want.
because he does.
That's why part of me do want to still stay, and for what you just said. I'm a firm believer in that.
But
Give it.
how does that look if you be like, I'm demoting you now? Like, I don't know. I let them. Okay, so I feel you. I definitely feel you. I understand everybody's frustration with Zach. Or I do. Um, I'm giving the coaches a C. I feel like John Harbaugh got too cocky, Tom Monken got too cute, and Zach Orr seems clueless most of the time. That's y'all C right there. Because early in a game, why not take the 3 points?
Yes.
We on a road. We not like what was that about? Like that's what I mean by too cocky. Like what was that about? And then even hear him say that, he probably would do that again. It's like, wow, you know,
Too
why are we not? If we can see our defense is struggling, right? The defense is struggling. They're having a tough time, and it's not to say that the defense doesn't need to improve, but why not try to run the ball more to keep the ball away from the Browns to less exposure defense? Like offensively, we weren't doing much to help them defensively because every time they got on a field defensively, we was getting embarrassed. Like it looked a mess. And it's not only the back end of the defense that looks bad because they were looking bad up front too. I mean, Roquan, Jameis got them with a veteran move because they were still trying to figure out. They were still running. They was crisscrossing each other on one. It's like, what are y'all doing? And that was what Roquan said. So this is why I'm looking at it like this. When stuff like that happens, because it seems like it's been a communication issue and a placement issue all season, that's a Zach Orr thing. Because you're looking at it like a lot of these guys have been here, they've played, they know how to do certain things. They didn't just forget how to play football, right? Maybe these guys don't like the philosophies of Zach Orr. Like I don't know what it is, but they don't seem to be playing for him. And in the end, he's getting all of the blame. But they out there, they're not doing the best job themselves.
Right.
They're not executing, but it's going to always fall on the coach. Um, I feel like I said earlier, I feel like you can make improvements with winning. It's better to make improvements with winning versus losing. Like I feel like they've swept a lot of things under the rug because they've been winning. But defensively, we still have the same issues. Like nothing has improved defensively. We can say, um, the beginning of the Dallas game. Like we can point to certain games and say they played well against the Bills, but we 8 weeks in. We still talking about moments. Like that's not the Baltimore way when it comes to defense. So that's so again, I get the frustration with Zach. Oh, I really do. I just feel like I'm not for saying demote him or fire him after 8 weeks because I don't think they would do that to a white man.
That's
So I heard that John Harbaugh in the past has been involved with the defense, especially the DBs. John Harbaugh's time for you to earn your money. You go over there and you work. You start coaching them up. Dean Pease, maybe Dean Pease need to be next to Zach or in his ear versus being in a booth because I believe he's in a booth.
shit
Or maybe you send Zach Orr up in a booth to sit next to Dean Pease. So that I'm just saying it's a lot that can be done without them just saying we're gonna fire this young black man.
for sure.
Um,
I don't know if you on that part.
but that's not to excuse. That is not to excuse Zach Orr. Like I said, they look confused, and the fact that they're so confused, that got to fall on coaching. Because at what point do you start taking accountability and say, "What can I do better?" You know what I mean? But I feel that way about the defensive players too. They got to look themselves in the mirror as well and say, "What can I do better?" Because it ain't just the coach. These guys aren't executing. They missing clear opportunities to change the game.
Yeah, that's
So
true. That's true. Only reason it looks bad like that because it's basically the same players minus, like I said, three guys, and it is just too drastic. We expected a little bit of a dip, but this is like wow. We're like the bottom of the league, damn near. Yes, and yes, the run defense have been overall pretty good besides a few moments, but it's like we did not expect that. And like you said, losing coaches probably is really now hurting. You lose Weaver, you lose Denard Wilson. It's definitely hurting. Like I
mhm.
think Anthony Weaver, my opinion, should got promoted. Some people say Denard Wilson, but yeah, it's but this
And it probably depends on opportunity. Like clearly those other guys had other opportunities because they went elsewhere. They might weren't waiting around for the Ravens to pick them. Jaguar might have been the last choice, you know what I mean? Like last but the thing about it is a lot of us were high on Jaguar. Nobody was like mad that he was picked to be the defensive coordinator. So I just feel like they need to figure it out. Like, I don't think it's a matter of lack of talent, but I do feel like these guys defensively just aren't being held accountable. When you have your defensive leaders on your defense leaving the locker room before the game is over, like before the media can come in and address them, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Roquan and Kyle Hamilton should have stayed there and answered whatever questions came to them because y'all are the defensive leaders on this team. At least we think y'all are. But when you do stuff like that, you don't look like much of a leader.
I would piggyback off the
All right, so we can move on to. Oh, go ahead.
yeah,
Go
just
ahead.
real quick. The reason why everybody was high, including myself, because he played here, he know the standard here, and that I felt like gave him a little bit of an edge because he can relate to players and
Mm-hmm.
and talk to them because he was in their shoes a few years ago. So I felt like that will help him overcome the lack of experience of actually doing the job. His playing, I felt like that will cancel it out a little bit, but clearly it hasn't proceed.
Yeah, and you got to know what you're doing. People got to believe in what you're saying. You know. But what grade did you give Lamar?
B plus. B plus. Few in the miss overshot Zay with an A. But like I said, now if I was to drop passes, he has 300 plus yards again. So yeah, it's just that simple. He kind of missed some throws. He's human. Nobody's gonna go 40 for 40. I mean, you know this, and people that actually know the game know this. But the ticky
Mm-hmm.
tack, tick tack, and analysts, they always gonna, I get it. He's making 50, whatever he's making. So you're gonna hold him to a high standard as you should. But he's human. No quarterback in the league is gonna complete every single pass. I'm talking none. But I get.
Mm-hmm. I gave him a B. I feel like he did enough to put us in a position to win. No, I don't have anything bad to say about Lamar. Like I said, you're not going to make every pass is not going to be perfect. So I think he did enough for us to win. Well, I'll give him a B. What grade do you give the running backs?
B. Like I said, they did they could with the lack of opportunities. Derrick Henry did pop one. Justice Hill made some okay catches, but pass protection, he got blown up. That's my biggest issue. My two biggest issues with Justice Hill is pass protection and ball security. And so far, he's been, holding to the ball, but pass protection, man, he getting blown up a little too much for me. So, but I give him a B. They did what they could with the limited opportunities.
I give him a B as well. For the same reasons. Like I said, there's no reason why he should be getting 11 carries a game and he's averaging like 6 yards per carry. Like that doesn't even make sense. Like I said, they need to look at it. If we're going to accept this defense for what it is, then we got to figure out ways offensively to help them. I mean, you said it yourself. It's time for the offense to start, winning us games. I just feel like you got to run the ball, play to your strengths. You know what I mean? Like I don't. We talked about that while they were winning. Like play to what you know you do well. All that other stuff gonna open up. You know what I mean? But when you get out there and you try to be cute and doing dumb stuff, like it just y'all taking points off the board. Like that just doesn't even make sense. So I'm not mad at the running backs. Like you said, they were productive. I believe even with Lamar rushing, we had over 100 yards rushing. So I get them a B. What grade do you give the offensive line?
C plus. Because Miles got granted greatest skills with Darius Smith. The other kid Uncle Way. And we get nothing tomorrow. I actually got sacked, I think, like two, three times. But
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, pass protection was terrible. They did okay in spots, but yeah, this was their worst performance since the Raiders lost. C plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gave them a C. I just said they were pretty mid. I mean, it's for everything you just said. They weren't nothing to write home about. They got work to do. Like we were thinking, not to say they aren't a good group. That was a good group of guys they were going up against. They didn't do well in that situation. So I give them a C. And what grade do you give the wide receivers and tight ends?
B plus because they had 100, but the drops and shit kind of fucked it up. I'm getting the
Mhm.
A. Andrews did okay, made some good catches sort of lightly, but B plus.
I give them a B minus. For everything you just said, I feel like they contributed. They were doing what they had to do, but in the key moments that we needed them to, we couldn't get what we needed from them. So I'm giving them a B minus. All right, so let's move over to the defense. What grade do you give the defensive line?
A B. Shelby them didn't go for 100, but it was times they did gashes and get some runs. Him and Diontae Foreman and Pierre Strong, but they held him on 100 yards. And then I don't even know how many times James Winston got sacked. I know Cal Hamilton
I
got him.
think it might have been like two. I think it might have been two.
Yeah, beat. Only because they held him on 100 yards rushing.
And I gave him a C, because they held him under 100 yards rushing. But I just felt like Jameis was too comfortable back there.
Sure.
You need to get pressure. You still need to be able to get pressure with your front, even if you don't send, guys from the secondary or your linebackers to blitz or for pressure. Like you still got to be disruptive up front. I don't feel like they were as disruptive as they could have been. They couldn't take advantage of the Browns' offensive line. So I just give them a C. And what grade did you give the linebackers?
Um, C plus. No sacks from outside linebackers. Roll call them were okay, but they was making tackles 20 yards down the field. That's not good. So yeah, C plus.
And I give them a C. I said they were pretty mid too. Nothing game changing about what they did. You know what I mean? And yeah, you might have some tackles if you catching them after the fact. You know what I mean? But hey, I gave them a C. The defense was a little disappointing. Like I just expected a lot more from them collectively for real.
Yeah, they were terrible. Honestly.
And what about the secondary, the DB, safeties, and cornerbacks?
No, I'm laughing. I gotta give them a F. I'm sorry. F F F F. They didn't catch the picks. It would have rose up to a D. But yeah, man, it's like you like Cedric Tillman, who was basically a third, fourth receiver. He's only getting the bump now because Amari Cooper has been traded. He just come out there and kill you. Then Elijah Moore will kill you. Jerry Judy, who basically was a cast on, he come out there and kill you. And Joku killing you. So yeah,
Everybody.
and you made like I said, James is the service quarterback. He hasn't started full time in 4 or 5 years, and he came up and picked you up.
Yeah, they said he haven't started the game since 2022. Is what I thought I heard.
Yeah, I think it was with the Saints or something like that. I'm just saying, for
Um,
like it would have been a full time regular
Full time
season.
starter. Yeah.
Yeah,
I gave him a D. I think, like I said, I just feel like it's unacceptable to keep missing the opportunities that they've been missing all season. Um, you know, I- when we talked about this roster once the 53-man roster was set, me and you both thought that the secondary was one of the deepest units on the team. And like right now, I just feel like they've become a liability for the team. You know what I mean? Like I can't remember. Like I even remember it might have been like 2016 maybe, the
oh
year that
yeah.
we played the Steelers and the Patriots in the playoffs that year, I believe.
No, it was 14 when we had everybody
Was
hurt.
it 14? Was it 14?
It was
Okay,
14.
so
That's when
14
you know like
and
the out flea flicker and all that bullshit.
but I'm saying it was a horrible secondary. I can't even tell you who was in the secondary back then, but we was still it wasn't like this is my point. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would I don't even know what to say at this point. Like I said, because I don't necessarily think it's a talent issue, but something's not clicking defensively. Like I don't know what's going on. And we're gonna kind of get into that in another topic,
Yeah, I'm about to say I got a lot. I
but
kind of got.
something not clicking with the whole defense. All right. So lastly, special teams. What grade did you give special teams?
I see. Just that simple. See, no big returns. Missed the field goal. Punts wasn't that great. See,
I said C as well, and I just said I'm tired of saying the same thing about that group. Like I'm just over it, and it's disappointing because like I said, we talked about it last week. We've been 1, 2, and 3 since Chris has been our 1, 2, or 3 since Chris has been our special teams coach. But this year, it's not looking like we're going to. We be lucky to make the top 10 at this point.
it's
And
horrible.
again, that's not the Ravens way.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. Man.
All right, so let's move on to the topics. So, what do you really think is going on with Marcus Williams? He did not play on Sunday.
From my humble opinion, just like I said, it's just that my humble opinion. He probably because I seen his live after the Bucks game was not happy, so he must have called some guys out, and then it's just by chance he's not playing that well. So by you not playing that well and you calling folks out and being disgruntled, it kind of makes it easy for somebody to say. It's one thing if he's out there getting 5, 6 picks and he been disgruntled. It's kind of hard to set him down. Because they make
Mm-hmm.
him out there missing tackles, Whifford and blown coverages. Who I was high on, we signed. He's been pretty good for the majority of his tenure. But saying like I since the injury, he's regressed a little bit. I think
Mm-hmm.
Hall, like, hey, how you going to base you? How you going to cost money? Oh, you're the main one out there blowing stuff. So I think he's in Hobbs' doghouse. So you know how that go when you're in his doghouse. It's damn near no point of return.
Yeah, I definitely think he's in Harb's doghouse for real. Like that's probably that's the only person that can actually tell you that you're not playing in the game. So I think he's in the doghouse. I do think it's kind of about what you said. Like either he was trying to call people out about their play, or he got called out about his play, and he didn't like what was being said to him. And he might have got went back and forth with maybe John Harbaugh, Zach, or got a little disrespectful. And they felt like, all right, you need to sit down for a day. Um, my thing is this with the fans, just like you want John Harbaugh gone and Zach Orr gone, and we were talking about Marcus Williams. Like, why everybody act like it was such a big deal that he got benched when he wasn't playing well? So if you're already not playing well, then you think you're gonna come in here in this team meeting or wherever we at and be disrespectful or rude or whatever? Like I saw a quote that he had during a week. And I was like, this sounds odd. It was something like, I'm just doing what I'm asked to do, or something like that. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
cut that line
well,
up a
what's
lot.
going on? It's like, well, what's going on? So my thing is this with all of this. We've switched defensive coordinators before and it's never looked this bad. It looks bad with Orr. And to me, after a while, it's starting to look like, are these guys like, are they quitting on him? Are they just not putting forth no effort? Like, what is going on in these defensive meetings that the defense just looks like this? You got a guy that you paid big money to that you basically benched for whatever reason. Like John Harbaugh said, we're gonna keep it in house, but obviously something happened. So now you got everybody wondering, well, what happened? But I still just feel like it needs to be a lot of accountability on that side of the ball. Eddie Jackson is not looking like a good signing right now. We
Right.
thought that he would have been a good signing for depth purposes and everything. He's not doing anything. These guys can't get their heads turned around. They can't catch easy interceptions. They can't get lined up the right way. That it's issues from the top down, in my opinion. So what I'm starting to wonder is, have these guys quit on Zach Orr? Because that's what it's starting to look like to me. I just can't fathom why they look so bad. And with
I think
Marcus Williams, he probably did. He probably cussed them out. He probably cussed them out either way. Either he was mad about like he was trying to hold somebody accountable, which you can't do when you playing bad, or somebody was trying to hold him accountable and he didn't like what was being said to him, and now you benched.
it could have been a little bit of both, but I think they low key have put up. Because it's like I said last year, this defense is one of the best in the league, if not the best. So to go from that to now, you're down the bottom of the pack. They're like, damn, we pretty much got 90% of the same unit was here. We lost three guys. It's like
Like yesterday, what we did yesterday, six blitzes in a row. You know what I mean? Like, what was that about? That's a Zach Orr problem because obviously you called it, or who called it? Ding Bees, or who called that?
yeah, I mean that I can't blame him because he's trying to get some pressure. The guys are not getting to the
Six
quarterback.
times, six in a row.
When the guys not getting to the
Even
quarterback,
when
you get
I heard who was that on the radio this morning? Was it, I forgot what defensive coordinator that was, but basically what he was saying was he's like I'm known to blitz, but I would never send six blitzes in a row. Like when they know what you're doing, like
they can
you're
pick it
not
up.
benefiting
Yeah,
your team when you do stuff like that.
yeah, not
Yeah, so
that.
that's not it's not smart. And then you blitzing and not even getting there. Like what are we doing? So
They got
they still got a lot of work to do. They got a lot of work to do on the defensive end. Like I said, it's a lot of blame to go around. I feel like everybody need to put a mirror up and take accountability, starting from the coach, the position coaches, to the players, because it ain't just the coaches. Them players got to execute too.
for sure. Like a wise man once said, I don't care if you call it peanut butter and jelly. The players gotta make peanut butter and jelly work. It's an old saying. Like, that's what, X and O's, but you guys, the Jimmys and Joes still got to execute. So, for sure.
Hmm.
But the biggest issue with this team, defensively, yeah, secondary and all that, it's the pass rush, to be truthful with you. Yes, Van Noy, 7 sacks and all that, that's fine. But where's the sacks when you need it? like we was in the space earlier, man. Juice was like, it's different getting a sack on first down than on third down, fourth down when you need it, or on the first
Mm-hmm.
quarter, on the fourth when you need it, or you get sacks when you're playing with a lead versus getting sacks when you need them. So, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, he started off hot and it fizzled out. It's, him and Obey too, same thing. Had that 2 sack game against the Raiders and been on the milk carton ever since. So it's like, and that was our biggest fear. It's like,
And John Harbaugh made a good point, and I was like, that's fair. He's basically he was talking about it's easier for a defense to pin their ears back and get after you when you're putting that offense in long distance situations. But if you're allowing them to when you're trying to basically when it's like a 3-1, 3-2, you're not sending no pass rush in situations like that because most likely they're going to be running the ball. So you're trying to stop the run. Like you're trying to basically however they line up is what you're going to do. It's not a situation where you're going to say we're just going to send out pass rushes and get them in this situation.
team thought
But
that's
when
even
it's long distance, you could do what to us?
yeah. I'm saying even a 3rd and 1, even with the threat of it, they still like fuck it. We're gonna pin our ears back. If they run the ball, we'll adjust. We'll adjust and make the tackle, but we're gonna pin our ears back, and that's what your pass rusher first job is. Play pass, act like it's a pass play every single down, like a DB. You act like it's a pass everything. You backpedal as soon as there's a run. You put your foot down and come back up, feel me, and get involved. So that's your first thing. Come off the edge. If you see it, hand it off. Get off your block, make the tackle.
So in that situation, right, that's on a player to see that and do that,
For
right?
sure. I'm not. That's why I said
Right.
it's not.
So that's my point. That's why I say it's so much blame to go around. It ain't just because if you line up and it look like it's a run or pass, and then you do the opposite, it's on that player to then realize what they need to do. But if
For sure.
everybody gonna always be stuck into, well, this was the play that was called, so this is what I did. No, like you gotta adjust to what's happening on the field,
That's what
particularly
separate.
with the defense.
That's what separate players. You gonna agree with this whole policy we talked about this before. You mentioned it. That's what separate players like Miles Garrett, T.J. Watt, the Bosa brothers, Khalil Mack, even Parsons
Mhm.
versus B level, two level guys. Them guys gonna make their plays at any given moment, run, passes, whatever, skate,
Mhm.
whatever. Gonna just beat the man. Them the other guys, our guys, they sit you. They're gonna make plays in spurts. It's a difference.
We saw the difference last night on Monday Night Football with TJ Watt. Um, but moving on to the next topic. So the Ravens made a trade today for Diontae Johnson from the Panthers, and I want to know your thoughts on that, as well as do you think that we should still bring in a defensive player?
To answer the first part, I love it. Like I said, I get it. Bateman was making some plays, like I said, and we were happy and overjoyed because usually by this year time he's on IR or not really involved in whatever, like, without however you want to spin it. He didn't get targeted. That league separation, whatever. Because I'm just tired of keep getting to a political bait barbershop baby. But he's actually contributing more, so people got lower. Okay, all right. But people realize this has to everybody has good games. Remember, like we have running backs that would have 4 or 5 games and then sputter up. That's why I still say, man, look, I get it. He's making plays, but let's not put out all egg bashes on him and Zay. And then Aguilar, like he's spotty too. He'll have a good game, good couple good okay games and drop the ball. That's why he's been moved around so a lot. And so like I said, and then like
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I loved it. I wanted D Hop, but I'll take Diontae Johnson for sure. He had some drop issues too, but I think, but he's made a lot more plays than he dropped the football. So, and he went out of Carolina. Carolina's a shit show, but I loved it though. He's a little younger, so I guess that's why they went with him instead of an older guy. Makes sense. Somebody you can have for a few years versus 1 or 2 years, and he can move around, slide outside, and like I said, now moves. Thank you for highlighting that too, Shannon. I'm gonna paying that on
Mm-hmm.
my Aguilar to the fourth receiver where he had his most success at last year. And like I said, I said low key the presence of Odell was going to be missed because that big play guy is the third receiver, and it was we got away with it a little bit, but then the tough games, it's like we needed that extra help. And the second part, yeah,
Wait, Odell barely played for the Dolphins this year.
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, far as what he contributed to us last year, yeah, he definitely is washed like shit. That was the worst overpay we ever did. But yes, we definitely still need to add a defensive player for sure. I would say more so on a pass rusher because you can add Buda Baker, you can add Marshawn. If motherfuckers still got 4 seconds to throw the ball, it don't matter. They might break on the ball a little bit more here and there, but but a lot of times you got time to throw the ball, they're still gonna complete it. It's that simple. I don't care if you got Sauce Gardner, Surtain, both Simmons and Bates back there. If Tang got time to throw, they're gonna complete the football. So definitely
Mm-hmm.
out edge rusher because like I said, our guys are like B list, C list guys. We need an A list of Max Crosby, Harold Landry, BJ July for the Giants. I know they say he could possibly be on the move. Hassan Reddick would have been nice. I don't know. I think the Jets picking up his contract, or whatever. Like for real, I'll even take Chandler Jones for real at this point. Regardless of what the hell happened when him in Vegas,
I
but
don't even know if he's playing. Is he even playing?
like, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. Randy Gregory, whoever, just somebody that can get to the quarterback because just relying on these guys of Van Noy is not working. I would more so in the pass rush department because I think the secondary, you heat the quarterback up, they'll jump on the route. That's what happened last year. We was getting sacks, heating the quarterback up. Them guys able to jump on the routes. So, that's a
Yeah, I agree. I think it's an okay trade. Like, it's not something that I was over the moon about. Like, oh, I'm so happy we got him. But I don't think that he's going to hurt us offensively. He can do nothing but add value. So it's a solid move, to me. And I do think we still need help defensively. It would be nice if we could add two guys, but I agree with you that if you're going to pick, go with getting help up front. Um, I was surprised to hear that I think they were talking about they said the Ravens are fourth in sacks in the league. I think I heard it on the radio earlier,
he didn't
and I
like
was,
him.
I was a little surprised by that. I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay, stuff like that give you false hope and think that they're playing better than they actually are. Um, a good way to protect a bad secondary is a good front, a good pass rush. If you guys get to the quarterback and they don't have to stick with the wide receivers and chase them around for 5 and 6 seconds, then maybe they wouldn't have a bunch of big plays made on them. And that's not to say that they don't they shouldn't be held accountable, but at the same time, the front got to do better. You know what I mean? And I do feel like adding a pass rusher will be beneficial. Like I said, I don't know who's available, but whoever they can bring in. Shoot, I wish the Panthers would have traded Clowney to us too. We should have traded for both of them.
I'm embarrassed too. Because I'm a former D lineman. I look at it like this. Like I told you, said you can have whoever you want at corner and safety. You cannot run with somebody across the field for 5 or 6 seconds each play.
Yeah,
It's just
not gonna do it.
it's
Not
one.
every single right. Every
Yeah,
single no, that's not
you're
gonna work.
going backwards. You're already in a
Right.
disadvantage. They're going forward. That's like me trying to race somebody running backwards. They running forward, and they know exactly where they're going. I got it. It's not that easy. That's why I'm trying to tell people. You go up there and guard Jamal Chase and see how you do. Feel me?
Hmm.
Like it's not easy, man. So it's like a pass.
But
How to have a pass rush to help you out.
I just want to say, holy bro, I cannot see a playoff spot with John Harbaugh coaching. Um,
That's I don't
this,
that
this is this is when I think is unfair to John. I get that a lot of y'all don't like John, and he makes a lot of dumb decisions, and we talked about
that
it on here.
that's kind of stupid.
But
You said Super Bowl maybe, but not. But he just went to the playoffs with the AC Championship game. Much
yeah,
like
like
LeBron.
we've been to the playoffs a lot with John Harbaugh.
Only went to the playoffs
Everything,
twice. So that's
and
a
you want to, and it's I don't I just I look at it this way. I feel like because I seen somebody made a tweet like, John Harbaugh's holding his team back. They wasting Lamar's generational talent. All this stuff they saying about what we're doing to not help Lamar. And my response to that was like, relax. Like y'all act like we haven't had success before Lamar came here. And that's not to say that before he became the quarterback that we didn't have down years because we did. But we've also experienced success too with John Harbaugh being a coach.
sure.
I don't think it's fair that we wanna continue to say that these players carry John Harbaugh because you tell me a great coach in general. I don't care what sport that didn't have great players with them.
Absolutely.
You can't give, let's just say, a Bill Belichick credit, right, for being his great coach, which I know he is, right? But then not also acknowledge that he had Tom Brady all those years,
Yeah.
or talk about Andy Reid and not acknowledge that he got Pat Mahomes as his quarterback. So when it comes to John Harbaugh, I don't get y'all that act like that with him, because why is it that he has to do this, but these guys don't, and they get all this credit and everything with John Harbaugh is when he win, it's because of these players, and when he lose, it's his fault. I don't understand that way of thinking.
And you already know why. Because something is easy as day. Because what does he specialize in? And it's no
He's
knock
the easier
against him, but
person to blame.
yeah, because he don't specialize.
No, yeah, I mean, but you we
I'm with you. You can't slight him for that, but that's why people don't give him like that nod he should get, because they look, oh, you fucking specialized special team. Like you can't take over our offense, you can't take over a defense. So this is no secret, But I'm just putting it in retrospect why people think the way they think to answer what you're saying. Like if he was a defensive guru, he would get a lot more like love. Offensive guru, he'd get a lot more love. Because Tomlin do the
get
same
love and
thing.
guess what? Get love, right? But what about people who are defensive gurus and they still are horrible head coaches? You
That's
can't
right.
be a head coach for freaking 16 or 17. How long you been here?
Yeah,
You don't be a head coach that long and not be good. So to make a statement like that, you can't see a playoff spot with Harbaugh.
yeah,
Do
that
you
was
realize how many teams
that was wild.
they would like, we've been to the playoffs?
That's wild. That's
It's
wild.
like, what are we talking about here?
That was
Like, John
wild.
Harbaugh not holding us back like that. Like, I get it. He ain't perfect. You can blame him for a lot of things, but to make it like, if we don't, if he the coach, we ain't going to the playoffs. Like, what? We was just there last year,
Yeah,
and we got there with freaking Tyler Huntley when Lamar went down. Like, what are you talking about?
please don't bring that.
But whatever. Don't get me. Don't even start it.
Yeah, that was. I guess
Don't
that
even
was
start it.
over the reach, but anyway.
Yeah. So moving on to the last topic. Something to make us smile a bit, thinking about the good old days. Some guys that we could use right now if they if they can still play.
Facts.
But it was announced, I believe, a couple last week, the end of last week, it was announced that Suggs, Ngata, and Yanda are all moving forward or advancing and are voting for the Hall of Fame of class of 2025. So out of those three guys, who do you think will advance? One, two, or three?
This ain't gonna take long. Terrell Suggs. That's it. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when you and I love all three of them. We know what they did for the team. But when you think about a Hall of Fame player, it's no thought about whether or not they in. Those are the guys they say if you got to think about it, they're not a Hall of Fame player. I think that Yonda and Nagata they'll make it at some
I ain't
point.
gonna say not. Not to cut you off. I ain't gonna say not Hall of Fame, but not first ballot. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They're gonna make it. I think they can make it. I think they should make it. This is Halodi's second time. So we already know he not first ballot, and I don't see him going in over Suggs. Like, I don't see them saying, "Well, yes to you," and notice. I feel like Suggs is the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Easily.
So out of those three, I do believe that he's going to move on, and the other guys will be there. And when they get there, our top dog's going to be there waiting for him. Ed, Jo, Ray, and then Throw Suggs will be there.
And that shows Ozzy. That's 4 first-round picks. That's Hall of Famers that you drafted.
Yeah.
The Wizard man.
Ozzy should go in the Hall of Fame as a general manager as well. I don't care. Like, I know he's in as a player, but he deserves to be in as a general manager as well.
Yes, fuck yes. I get the last couple years might have been a little spotty, but still, his overall tenure, hell yes.
Holy Rose said, "I'm only talking about this year." What? We 8 games in.
I
Are
mean,
we
that's
done? Are
I
we
kind of
not? We
figured.
are we not in the?
Shannon, we kind of figured that, Shannon. Because we're not crazy, to think
No, I didn't. I did not figure that because I'm trying to
we,
figure out. Are we not? If they place a playoff bracket right now, are the Ravens
we're
not
in the
in it
mix. We're
anymore?
in the mix. I
So
guess
what
he
are we
said,
talking?
whatever. But yeah,
Okay.
they don't need to waste no
Okay.
time on that one. But go ahead, Shannon.
No, I'm just like, okay. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm assuming you're a guy. I'm glad you responded because I was curious. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Um,
that gives more context, though. I'm glad
but
he
I
did.
but I still don't. But I still don't agree. Like, it's not like we are.
No, we're
I
five
seen.
and
I saw a tweet earlier that said it's 30% of the NFL teams right now have one or two wins. That's not the Ravens.
yeah.
Not in the 30%. So it's a great chance we're still gonna make the playoffs. Like when we lose, as the fan base goes crazy, man. Like
Oh yeah. It's pandemonium or fandemonium,
like
whatever how
I
you.
don't like that game didn't bother me like that because like you said, we've been saying this stuff in wins. We've been talking about these things that we saw happen on Sunday. We talked about that when we was winning. So
Facts.
losing that game is like, okay. I talked about how great I thought the Cleveland Browns defensive line was. We knew what was, I said I didn't know what James was going to do. Was they going to, run Chubb more or let James go? I like James. We know he can pass the ball. He also can give you some interceptions. Our
Him and
guys just
Baker
couldn't
Mayfield,
capitalize.
same quarterback, just different skin complexion.
Yeah. So I mean, I said I do. I don't think that the sky's falling. It ain't over. We ain't out of nothing. It's things that can be fixed, but our fan base need to calm down. Like I'm friends with fans of like let's just say the Giants
They would
for
die to
instance.
be in these shoes.
Like
Yeah.
those fans have reason to be. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I just know people that are fans of different teams, and I'm like, y'all tripping. Like
They would
Ravens
die.
fans are spoiled.
They would die to be in these shoes. And like you said, we spoiled. The
Yes.
expectations are higher, so those organizations historically, Giants are a winning organization for sure. They got 4 Super Bowls and they've been winning. Yeah,
Yeah.
just lately they haven't. But yeah, we definitely spoiled. But five and people, I'm gonna say this, and we'll wrap it up. You're gonna definitely agree with this. Both Super Bowl years, we had similar controversy, and so to say.
Mm-hmm.
9-2, then lost three. Won it. First Super Bowl run, we went all
Went some weeks without no scoring, no touchdowns. Right. Mm-hmm.
still went 4-1. Then we had some stuff that, and then like I said, we got in as a wild card. We had one home playoff game for both of those runs and went to the Super Bowl. All the years that we were a 1 or 2 seed, we didn't make it no further in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
You're right.
so it might not be a bad thing to not have a number one seed. Not saying
The
that
only
I
thing I'll say about that is we
was
need to make sure we had different leaders in the locker room with both of those teams as well too. You know what I mean? Like Shannon Sharp was on the offense. Trent Dilfer was a veteran quarterback. Like we had guys that wasn't going to let the group just crumble. In 2012, even with the mutiny, you still had guys leadership on both sides. I don't know who that is in this era of Ravens. Like I just don't know who that is. And when you hear that Roquan left and Kyle Hamilton left, I get being upset. You see what just happened with Stephon Diggs' brother, the Diggs and the Cowboy, the cornerback. He
yeah,
flipped out. He went off on a media person. I get they're human. They get upset, but you guys get paid a lot of money. You gotta take some accountability for what's going on out there. You can't just keep blaming it on the coaches. Like that's just the easiest thing you can do.
for sure.
Really. And that's not to excuse the coaches. Because like I said, I didn't like a lot of the stuff that was going on out there on Sunday, which I know was a coach's decision. But come on, we gotta hold these guys accountable, man.
EDC said, "Fuck that! You ain't gonna blame me. I'm gonna make some moves." He's smart. He said, all I can do is trade him, trade for him, draft him, and everybody else got on their own. So he trying to hold his end of the bargain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
He trying.
great shows, usual Shannon. This, like I said, the therapy sessions are always great. I gotta tell everybody, relax. But go ahead, Shannon. Go ahead, and get your closing remark.
That was what I was gonna say. Like, relax, man. Like, I get being upset. I get it. Like, it's like losing to the Raiders and the Browns. You like, really? You know what I mean? Like certain teams, you lose to the Chiefs, you could take that. You might lose to the Bills, or even if it was the Cowboys, you might be like, okay. But when you lose to teams that you might feel like is inferior to you, like it's a problem. And that was a winnable game. Like, and the only reason why I won't rag on them too bad is because I did have faith watching that game that we had a chance to still come back and win. Like I didn't feel like we were gonna like it's over. Like playing the game, I didn't feel like, oh my goodness, this is over with. Because we've watched them in previous games come back, be down and be in games and have blowouts and go toe to toe with. We've seen it all. So I wasn't totally like, oh my gosh, we're gonna lose this game, but it just could have been better execution amongst everybody, man. If Cal Hamilton makes that interception, we might be having a different conversation today. But again, maybe they needed to lose so they can have some real conversations.
Oh no, you're right, Shannon. Everything you said was great. Like I said, reason I'm so tough on Zach Orr because he played here and he's been
Mhm.
around. So that's why I'm a little tough on him because he know this is like unacceptable. If he was brand new, I would have a little bit more grace. I'm like, all right, he's figuring out the Raven way, but he's been here. He put the uniform on. I'm like, you know, this is not cool. Like, like steal some shit from that. I don't. We don't give a shit. We don't care. We don't care what they're gonna say
I
on.
think it's a disconnect. I think it's really a disconnect right now between him and the players. I do. It's
That's why I
not
said
something that he's speaking about, but it's something going on with him and them.
get them in the room. Hey, what y'all guys like that was ran last year? It don't make you no less of a coach. Actually, make you more of a good coach to actually listen and fault and get some input because they're the ones out there playing, so their input should
That's what
be.
I said, and that's what
They're
I feel like. They
25,
need to say it. Yeah, say
they're
it as a
25 versus your two.
yeah as a player. Say it, and that's what happened in 2012. They got on John Harbaugh because they didn't like what was going on. There's nothing wrong with that. You can do it in a respectful way, even if it turns out to be anger. We're going to get to the bottom of it and try to fix whatever the problem is.
For sure.
But you can't keep going out there doing the same thing every week and thinking something won't change. Like they need to go sit in a room and figure it out.
Especially this is a year you're supposed to be your redeem team year to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, so definitely hit them out. Whatever worked last year, add it. Just whatever the wrinkles. It don't make you no less of a coach. Coaches do it all the time. Players do it, coaches do it. Don't make
Hmm.
you no less of a man or a coach. To take whatever worked last year and implement it, so you can have some. The ultimate goal is to get this team to the Super Bowl. Nobody cares about what they saying on sports and all that bullshit.
I don't be watching that. I
Right,
don't.
I'm saying,
Don't so don't let them upset you.
right. Like I say, always a great show. Good recap. We got a. We're gonna do our preview Thursday. I'll have some pretty good topics. David has some. We'll do our positional matchups, coaching matchups, over under. Because like I said, we got a red hot Denver team coming in, so we definitely got to turn the page. Know what I'm about to say? Like, subscribe. Check us out in the audio if you can't watch live. Like I always say, make sure y'all trade. I don't know what it means. Say it right there. Talking Ravens all day, every day. I'm your host, Justin P, and my MVP, $1 billion co-host, Shannon Finch. See y'all Thursday, same bad time, bad channel. We out.
Good night, Justin.
Good night, Shannon.